Hello, welcome back to the ocean, and today I'm here to talk to you about naps. Sadly, not the fun kind where we get to go on little siestas. Here we're going to talk about non aggression pacts. Now, in these 4X games, what a non aggression pact is an agreement between a certain amount of alliances to reserve peace to save the server so people want to stay active and they don't get discouraged for a longer amount of time. Um, I'm going to go over a few things. We're going to go more into NAP and how it's going to work. We're going to go into the difference between NAPs and allies, and then we're going to talk about how to NAP. So, first, a very big common misconception just because you train troops in the game, just because war is an aspect of the game, doesn't mean that you're supposed to be fighting the same people in your server. As a matter of fact, your whole world is your backyard. You don't want to fight in your backyard. That's how I phrase it. You even get punished for fighting in your backyard. If you go and you attack somebody, you will permanently lose troops. Granted, some people don't care about troops. They are a very, very important factor of the game. They are highly underrated, overappreciated. But the issue is that whenever you're going to attack, you don't get hospitalized troops. You don't get ICU troops. You get permalost troops. Compared to defense, who gets hospital and then four times their hospital cap as an ICU cap, where they can wait over time and let their troops come back after they gain enough fights. Now, that is the punishment. Losing your troops for attacking people in your own backyard is the punishment. You may ask, well, if we're not supposed to fight with our troops, what happens in St. Vale? Whenever you go to World's Battle and you do the St. Vale battle on the invasion day and stuff like that, you will actually be able to get back 90% of your permalost troops during the event. That, of course, depends on how active your alliance is, how much they support each other, because there is about 50% of that, 60%, I think, maybe, that has to come from alliances clicking to help you, which is like using a help button for a specific person. With that being said, non aggression pacts are usually made between a lot of people round them by like 5, 10, 20, stuff like that. The top 5, top 10, top 20 alliances. We're going to talk more about that later. But that is so that the people in these alliances who are active and pushing power, the alliances that are pushing events and growing, are still going to be there for the World's Battle St. Vale event. Because you have a week of a preparation, which is like an ACES proof. One day you'll have construction and research, you'll have jewels for your treasures, you'll have treasure upgrades, hero file upgrades, stuff like that. And then the team who wins that preparation phase, the World's Battle Aces Proof, is going to be able to fight for the other world's St. Vale. Now, the other world is still able to invade, but they're not able to fight for St. Vale, the other server. With that being made clear, I want to touch on the next part, the separation between NAPs and allies. Because while they both work fundamentally pretty similarly, there are some pretty nuanced differences between them, and I just want to get them cleared. So, an ally is whenever an alliance makes an agreement with another alliance, typically a friendship, a bond, something like that, and they agree to work together. They agree not to attack each other, they agree not to scalp or mess with each other. And if one is under duress, in most situations, not all of them, the alliance and if one is in duress, the alliance will come and help the other alliance whenever they are being attacked. They need help. Maybe they don't have enough people to beat Mortem for one event. Highly unlikely, but still. A NAP, like I said before, is whenever the groups of alliances come together and agree not to attack each other. It's not inherent on whether or not there's no scouting. It's typically based off of your personal server. They typically make those choices. Some people care about scouting. I personally don't care about scouting. Some people just get in their feelings over it. And In N.A.P.s, you're not necessarily going to help another alliance unless specifically there's a rogue player or someone doing wrong that is a threat to the entire server. Or someone is just a very immoral person. With that being said, now we're going to talk into how to nap correctly. And of course, this is an opinion. This is my opinion. This is not some definition you'll find in a book. That doesn't exist. Nap is completely subjective. However, there are some ways that are going to work better than others. For me personally, I don't like going by top 5, top 10, top 20 and rounding like that because whenever you do, you are pretty much treating all the worlds like they're the same. Whenever each world has its unique members, its unique alliances, its unique workings, and stuff like that. So, what I typically like to do, and I'll show you on screen, I would like to look at the alliance rankings, and there's always going to be a couple drop offs. The first drop off, you always ignore. You don't pay attention to the first drop off. And that's going to be within the first 1 to 4 alliances. And the reason you ignore that is because that's the whaling ceiling. Like, that's where a lot of whales are pushing, a lot of whales are going. And there's going to be a majority of active players who do not whale as much as those other whales. So you can't bundle them into the same category alliance wise. So whenever you're looking to set up your nap, you ignore the first gap. And then I like to look for the second gap. Here we see that there's about 110 million gap at rank 6, but these are all still within the 6 and 7 mil area, 8 mil, stuff like that. Not 6 mil, I didn't mean to say 6 mil. 6, 7, no, bad theory jump. But, so, with that being said, this gap between rank 6 isn't that significant to where it's a complete change in the hundreds of millions. It is 110 million, 110 million difference. I understand that, but if you keep looking on, there's going to be a huge grouping where the power basis actually starts at like, I don't have it right in front of me, but I want to say it's like 755, maybe 775 million, and then everything goes up from there, and then it's a steeper hill down there. So, in my perspective, I would offer, remember, N.A.P.s are voted on and agreed by the entire server. If you try to control it, it never works. You only cause resentment. So I would usually try to take a vote, and in this instance, I would say, hey, we need a N.A.P. top 8. And then the thing about N.A.P.s is that they can be changed at any point. They do not have to be anything set in stone. You just have to keep your people educated. And that's on a consistent basis, which if you're keeping them educated on a consistent basis, they will stay educated. They will stay caught up. They will stay looking and knowing these things for themselves. With that all being said, how do you do N.A.P.? Do you even like N.A.P.? If you don't like N.A.P., go ahead and let me know in the comments why. How do you feel about the phrase, oh, it's a war game and fighting in your own backyard? Let me know that in the comments too. Also remember to go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. It helps me out a lot. Until next time, keep floating in the ocean.